Hello again, everyone, and welcome again to another Shortstop with a Shortstop. Today we're going to talk about the little things that mean a whole lot.
And the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall arise, no sorrow.
When I was playing in the big leagues, I had a infield instructor by the name of Joey Malafitano, and he always talked about feet work, because if you have your feet together real close to each other, it's going to be hard to field a ground ball. He wanted you to have your feet spread, or if a ball at second base is getting ready to turn a double play, and it might be a little bit to your left, you would have to shift your feet over. If it's a little bit to the right, you would have to shift your feet over to be able to be in position to catch the ball, touch the bag, and throw it on over to first base. But feet work is extremely important in the game of baseball. In reality, feet work is important in any sport that you play. But if we look at Romans chapter 10, verses 14 and 15, it says, "How then will they call on him in whom they have not believed? How will they believe in him who they have not heard? And how will they hear without a preacher?" Now listen to verse 15. "How will they preach unless they are sent? Just as it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news and good tidings." Wow. We as New Testament Christians need to use our feet. We need to go to places and teach people, have Bible studies and personal Bible studies, and go across our backyard and talk to our neighbors. But if we look in Mark chapter 16 and verse 15, it says, "Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature." And that's a lot of feet right there. We can do it in other countries, but feet work is important for a Christian to be able to teach, go places, and be able to be that preacher that God wants us to be. But Joe Morgan, when I was playing with him, he used his tongue a lot. He talked. It might be the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, and he would look over at me and say, "Hey, Johnny, we got to go. Game's one-run game, or it's tied, and there might be a fast guy on first base and a fast runner at the plate, and we needed to turn a double play." And he would just say, "Hey, we got to go." But I knew what he meant. He was saying, we got to make the play if it comes to us. And if there was a pop fly that went up, he would always be saying that if it was in his direction, I got it, I got it, I got it. Or if it was in my direction, he would start hollering my name, "Johnny, Johnny, Johnny." And but those things helped tremendously. And if we look at Romans chapter 1 and verse 15, and this is the Apostle Paul talking. "So, for my part, I am eager to preach the gospel to you also who are in Rome." Now, he was talking about the people in Rome. He was wanting to go he was wanting to go talk. And we need to use our tongues to the best of our ability, because when we use our tongues, we can tell people that we appreciate them. We can compliment people. We can use words that can make people feel 10 feet tall and bulletproof. And that's the type of speech that a Christian should be using. And a lot of times it's the little things. It's how we use our feet. It's how we use our tongue. And it's very important that we do these type of things to promote Jesus Christ. And if we look in Isaiah chapter 52 and verse 7, "How lovely on the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news, who announces peace and brings good news of happiness, and announces salvation, and says to Zion, your God reigns." Now, wouldn't that be good news to hear about God reigns? But he also used these feet. But he was also talking there and saying that God reigns. He was using his tongue to help other people to feel good. And that's what Christians need to do. But it's a small thing. And small things add up and make big things. And I had a hitting instructor by the name of Hank Sauer. He led the National League in home runs one year when he played for the Chicago Cubs. But he always talked about a bent right wrist. And if you're a right-handed hitter, you would want to have a bent right wrist when you hit the ball. If you're a left-handed hitter, you would want to have a bent left wrist when you hit the ball, because if you let your wrist get over here on this side, you're going to hit the ball very weak. But if that wrist is bent, it's going to hit the ball hard. And in Matthew chapter 8 and verse 3, it says, Jesus touched the hand of a man that had leprosy. And when he did that, he was cleansed. We're not able to cleanse people of leprosy. We're not able to heal people today the way Jesus did. But we can use our hands to carry food to people. We can use our hands to shake somebody else's hand and say, hey, good job. Well done. You did great. I appreciate you. I'm proud of you. And when we do that, we have touched somebody else with our hands. And also in Matthew chapter 8 and verse 15, it said, Peter's mother-in-law was sick, and Jesus touched her hand. And it says she got up and she started waiting on him. He healed her by just touching her hand, but he used his hand to touch her. We as New Testament Christians need to touch other people with our hands. And it may be, as I said, carrying food to somebody. It may be taking out the garbage for them. It may be a lot of different things that it seems like very minimal little things, but they add up to be big things. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, our eyes. Everything in sports, and I'm talking everything, keys off of your eyes. If you're hitting a baseball, you've got to be able to see it first. If you're going to catch a baseball, you've got to be able to see it to get your feet in position and your hands in position to catch the ball. But when we see somebody hurting with our eyes, we can comfort them by either a telephone call, a text message, even going on knocking on their front door and say, hey, I'm here for you if you need me. But when we see things like that, we need to act and be the type of person that Jesus wants us to be. Because if we do these little things, we're going to make the world a better place to be. And let's make this world as best as we can possibly make it while we're here. Thank you again for being with a Shortstop with a Shortstop.